Why can't Democratic leaders be serious or honest about why we've been losing, not just in Texas, but everywhere? Today, I want to talk about an article the New York Times ran this weekend because it gets right to the heart of why I'm running for U.S. Senate in Texas and what we need to do to start winning again. The Times got the scoop on an autopsy that the Democratic National Committee is doing on last year's elections. As a fighter pilot, we call this a debrief. Some organizations call it an after-action report. In politics, if you get killed, they call it an autopsy. Well, you'd think, after getting crushed up and down the ballot, that the DNC would understand how important it is for us to be brutally honest with ourselves. According to the people the Times talked to, this report won't even address Joe Biden's decision to run for re-election or the decisions that Kamala Harris and her team made after she became the nominee. This quote from the piece sums it up pretty well. Party officials describe the draft document as focusing on the 2024 election as a whole, but not on the presidential campaign, which is something like eating at a steakhouse and then reviewing the salad. This is not only weak, it's political malpractice. Our great nation is moving in a very dark direction, in large part because voters weren't buying what the Democrats were selling. And still, we aren't willing to be honest about why that happened and what we need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. If establishment DC Democrats aren't willing to ask the hard questions, then they don't have what it takes to get us out of this hole. And I am done with waiting on people who've been a part of the system, a part of the problem, to get their act together and figure it out. I don't need an autopsy to understand why we got here. Joe Biden was too old. Illegal immigration was a massive problem. And working Americans were feeling pain from inflation. As Democrats reminded them that the stock market was at an all-time high, they didn't care because half of Americans don't own stock at all. Even after everything that's happened, we still have people saying the problem in 2024 was that people weren't loyal enough to Joe Biden.
And I will tell you why we lost the last election. We lost the last election because we did not remain loyal to the leader of the party. That's my position.
You might dismiss this because, after all, it's Hunter Biden. But this isn't just about relitigating 2024. There are much bigger and more important points here. This isn't the party of Biden or Clinton or Cuomo. We should be the party of who we're supposed to be fighting for, the voter, the middle class, working Americans, not DC insiders. When we value party loyalty above all else, we lose. You can see that model in the GOP. That path only leads to destruction. We lost the 2024 election because voters trusted Donald Trump more than they trusted Democrats. And we need to own it, and we need to change our course. Because when we put ourselves on autopilot and run the same strategies with the same candidates, we lose. This is not complicated. It's not rocket science, but we're running out of time to fix it. We need to start winning again now. Failure is not an option in 2026. And I strongly believe that we have a real shot to win here in Texas, something Democrats haven't done statewide in over 3 decades. This isn't going to be easy, but I've spent my whole career doing hard things, improbable things, impossible things in the Air Force and at NASA. And that is why I'm up for this fight in Texas today and why I'm asking you to join me on this mission. Because it's time to start playing to win.